Hello everyone, the Snowman here, and today I want to talk about my top 10 sports movies of all time. It may not be the most conventional list you've ever seen. Sometimes I like to go for overall entertainment value over maybe the quality of the movie, so you may find some big names missing. Please leave a comment if you think I've made any big mistakes with my list. But yeah, let's jump into this, my top 10 sports movies of all time. And to start off my list at number 10, I've got Like Mike, a movie made in 2002 which follows a down-on-his-luck orphan played by Lil Bow Wow. He finds these magical pair of sneakers that were once worn by the great Michael Jordan. They give him magical properties. He's all of a sudden amazing at basketball, and it's a pretty lighthearted film, pretty kid-friendly, but there's tons of good nostalgic value. I love how many NBA players make an appearance in this movie. Jason Kidd, Allen Iverson, Steve Nash, Dirk, Chris Webber, just to name a few. So a lot of those guys make appearances. You got the old NBA jerseys. There's just a lot of good memories and nostalgic things that are brought back with this. But it's fun, plot may be a little bit predictable, but overall, pretty entertaining film. Number 9, I don't own this one, but it is the 2005 movie Kicking and Screaming. Another one I like mostly just for the comedic purposes. It's a lot of fun. Will Ferrell is the coach of his son's soccer team. He's got to beat his competitive father's soccer team, played by Robert Duvall. It takes me back to my youth soccer days. Again, a lot of nostalgia things going on here. You've got Josh Hutcherson. You've got Mike Ditka. Plays a fantastic role in this movie. I'll probably get a comment for this one. How do you not have Remember the Titans or Hoosiers or Miracle or some of the big, huge sports movies of all time, and this is the one you can attack me for. I don't blame you. I just have good memories of this. I know it's kind of a silly kids movie, but Kicking and Screaming. Number 8, we have one of the GOAT's finest moments from 1996, Space Jam, where His Airness Michael Jordan teams up with Bugs Bunny and the Looney Tunes. They got to take out some aliens, the Monstars from Moron Mountain, in basically a winner-take-all basketball game. Very high stakes. Similar to Like Mike, though, I love this movie because we get to see NBA players as actors. Charles Barkley, Larry Bird, Patrick Ewing, Sean Bradley. That's all fun. It's cool to see them in different roles, out of their comfort zones a little bit. And, this one maybe unsimilarly to Like Mike. It's got some inspiring moments. I Believe I Can Fly is an all-time legendary song, so, Bill Murray only enhances this movie as well. He's a comedic genius, and Space Jam is definitely a classic. We'll go back to soccer for number 7 on my list, and I don't own this one as well, but it is She's the Man from 2006. By far the funniest movie on my list. Just pure laughs the whole way through. Amanda Bynes, she has to pretend to be her twin brother in order to play with the boys soccer team after her girls team got cut. Nobody knows that Bynes' character, Viola, is really a girl. So she's broing it up the whole time. She becomes friends with Channing Tatum's character. It's love triangles galore. Bynes gets feelings for Tatum. It's very Shakespearean. It's actually based off of Twelfth Night. I just think it's an awesome plot, perfect cast. It's got a lot of good old slapstick humor. And I watched this movie and I still literally laugh out loud. So it'll make you laugh for sure. Number 6, I have the movie Ronaldo. Just kidding, although it is pretty good. Just check it out sometime. Now, the real number 6 is a classic from 1998, The Waterboy, one of the first movies I've ever seen, a true OG. You've got Adam Sandler playing a socially awkward mama's boy from Louisiana. He goes from his football team's water boy to the star linebacker, and he helps the SCLSU Mud Dogs get their first win in over 40 games. He gets 16 sacks in one game, shattering the old college record of 7. He plays defense, offense, and special teams. He ends up defeating his former team in the Bourbon Bowl. Sandler may be hit or miss for most people, but I think this is the perfect role for him. We're going to get more serious in my top 4, but right now, I'm just enjoying laughing. This is a classic. Good cameos again by guys like Lawrence Taylor, Chris Fowler, Lee Corso, Jimmy Johnson, etc. This is just vintage Adam Sandler. Number 5, I'm sticking with Sandler and going with The Longest Yard. This is the remake from 2005. It has a lot of similar elements to The Waterboy, but it gets a bit more serious at times. There's death and more tangible adversity. Sandler plays Paul Crewe, a disgraced former NFL quarterback who gets arrested, goes to a Texas prison, has to team up with his inmates to try to beat the guards in a primetime football battle. Chris Rock plays Sandler's right-hand man, Caretaker, and I love how many memorable prisoners there are. You've got Michael Irvin as Deacon Moss, Nelly as Earl Megget, Terry Crews as Cheeseburger Eddie, throw in Brucey, Turley Switowski, You've got the original legend, the late great Burt Reynolds as Coach Nate Scarborough. You can see Paul Crewe evolve throughout this film. He goes to only caring about himself to actually having this sense of family and selflessness. So, it's definitely silly, but I believe there's meaning in this too. So The Longest Yard comes in my top 5. Just a year after The Longest Yard comes my number 4 movie, Invincible, out in 2006, and it's probably not hard to guess my age with most of these movies coming in the late 90s, mid 2000s. But this one, not as funny, more about heart and determination. It's based off of a true story. Mark Wahlberg plays Vince Papale, a 30-year-old bartender who goes from zero to hero when he gets a chance to play with the Philadelphia Eagles. And the character of Papale, it's such a relatable character. He's poor. His wife leaves him. He gets laid off. He gets told he's not good enough multiple times. He's got his friends participating in worker strikes. Everything seems down, but that really fuels him. You also have Greg Kinnear playing Dick Vermeil, the head coach of the Eagles. There's just an incredible spirit, though, with this movie. It's motivating. It's inspiring. It's got that great Philly vibe to it. And it's just authentic, real. Papale is a protagonist that we can all root for, and I love everything about this movie. Number 3, we have my 4th straight football movie, Varsity Blues from 1999. Another movie I just see very few flaws in. Obviously, high school football is king in Texas, and this movie follows a high school football team that goes through a drama-filled and tumultuous season. Their star player, the very handsome, very talented Lance Harbor, played by my favorite actor of all time, Paul Walker. He gets injured, so in steps the backup QB, Jonathan Moxon, played by James Vanderbeek, and it's all made worse by the fact that they've got this ruthless and manipulative head coach, Bud Kilmer. So the young men on the West Canaan Coyotes, they've got to decide what's most important to them. It's a little bit of comedy mixed with drama, definitely a coming-of-age story, though, and it's very interesting to be immersed in this culture where football is literally more important than family or school or religion or career or really just life. Football is their way of life in West Canaan, and I just love Varsity Blues. All right, time to get a little bit serious now with what I believe is the second best sports movie of all time, Glory Road from 2006, and what a ride this movie takes you on. I first saw it when I was in middle school, and it's based on a true story about the 1966 NCAA college basketball season. We follow Don Haskins, portrayed by Josh Lucas. He's the head coach of Texas Western College. And this movie, it explores a lot of things. It explores racism, discrimination, student athletics. Don Haskins and Texas Western, they start the first ever all-black starting lineup in NCAA history. So we see all the adversity that these black players from Texas Western go through this season. Off the court, they're disrespected. On the court, they're underdogs. And then facing these nearly seemingly insurmountable odds, they achieve great things together. It is a totally inspiring story. This film also taught me just a lot historically about basketball and race relations. If you want to get inspired, if you want to truly be emotional and connect to something, Glory Road is the movie for you. Now, maybe you've disagreed with many things about my list so far, but hopefully we can all agree that this movie is amazing. Number 1, I've got The Sandlot from 1993. A movie with a perfect blend of action and comedy and suspense and love and friendship. A true artistic masterpiece. It's the oldest movie on my list, and it's the story of an 11-year-old boy, Scott Smalls, trying to fit in. Smalls, he bonds with another group of boys through baseball. You've got Benny the Jet Rodriguez, the leader of the team, and they have many adventures during the summer of 1962. They play baseball against their very non-talented rivals. You've got Squints pretending to drown so he can mac on Wendy Peppercorn, whether they're chewing Big Chief tobacco and throwing up all over the carnival ride. It's nonstop action, nonstop fun. And there's something about this movie, too, that's special. You're able to kind of transport back to that time when you were just a kid. None of the minutia and petty details of adult life matters. It's just kids playing a game they love, having the time of their lives. And that's why I believe you can't beat The Sandlot. Again, please comment if you agree or disagree with any of the movies on my list. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to the Snowman Sports Media. Give me a thumbs up, and I'll be back soon. Thank you so much. Cheers.